everybody, we are back. All new edition. Just, the headphones are really loud for some reason today. Fresh takes, Russo and Felice. I am Paul Russo. Across from me, as always, man, myth, guy who is here on time today, Nick Felice. Nick, how you doing? Long time no see. Not like I just didn't spend pretty much 3 straight days with you.
Yeah, long time no see.
There we go.
Yeah, this is episode number 113 of the Fresh Takes with Russo and Felice podcast. I'm doing good. We had a good weekend in Pittsburgh. Paul, you, me, my brother, and my friend Josh. And, we're back now here in Niagara Falls. I wish I was still in Pittsburgh, but, the Olympics have started. The NBA's still going on. But we got another great show for you.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend.
Yeah, I did not win anything. Betting was terrible.
Yeah, not my brightest moment overall.
Matt took home, I think, almost $1,000.
Somehow.
Well, he won 680.
Well, if we're talking in that realm, yes. Matt did. Hey, I thought we were talking about specifically in Pittsburgh. I'm like, he did not.
No, he took home. It was a Delago bet, but it was $680 for Morikawa winning the Open Championship. So congratulations to Matt. Thanks for being a guest on this podcast.
Thanks for driving.
Yeah, that's right. You drove,
I was more than willing to pick up a shift, but
it's not too bad. Pittsburgh's just under 5 hours.
Repping my new hometown team, the Pittsburgh Pirates, tonight. So
yeah, we're not even talked about the game. The walk-off grand slam by Jacob Stallings.
That was wild, dude. I'm so happy. I had a nacho thrown at me by some pissed-off Met fan.
Yeah, 314-0 teams were this season, taking a 6-run lead into the 8th inning. Not this time. And then the next day, the Pirates blew a 6-0 lead as well. But
Mets are awful.
Crazy stuff, but nice hat.
Thank you. Nick, you alluded to it, obviously, NBA Finals. We got the MLB trade deadline. We'll talk some stuff about that since it's next week. The NHL expansion. Seattle Kraken have their expansion draft tomorrow.
Did you think 3 years ago when we started this podcast, we'd ever be talking about the Seattle Kraken?
Well, I mean, I think at the time they were for sure looking to get one more NHL team in there, so.
I don't think the Vegas Golden Knights were a thing.
3 years ago? Yeah, they were. They were officially headed into the league. I don't think they had their draft yet, but they were in the league, technically.
All right.
Yeah. So. Whatever.
Anyway.
How was Sheets, Nick, by the way? Before we move on, how was Sheets?
It was.
Did you eat all your food?
I did eat it all when I got home. Everything looked good.
My man, let alone what actually he ordered. People of the internet, I need to tell you. My man Nick Felice literally ordered one of every sauce on the menu.
Yep.
That included, and this is a key part in this because he did not get any dessert food from Sheets. This included both peanut butter and hot fudge.
Well, I did get a dessert. I ate it before you got to the table.
Oh, what'd you get?
I got the Oreo.
Oh, you did get the fried Oreos.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, I ate them. There was only 3 of them.
Oh, you only got the 3-piece.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got the 5-piece.
Yeah,
it's a rookie mistake.
What was the last thing I got? And no, it was a 3-piece. I ate it before you got there to the table.
Well, mistake on your part.
Yes.
You didn't get the hot fudge or the peanut butter on for it, man. What were you thinking?
Huh?
You didn't put the hot fudge or the peanut butter on your fried Oreos.
The hot fudge. I did do it.
You did?
Yes.
It looked unopened when I got to it.
It wasn't a lot.
I don't know.
It was unopened. I put it back together. I did do it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have just done the peanut butter next time. The hot fudge was all right.
Probably wasn't exactly hot, was it?
No, it was warm.
Okay.
No, but I'm a peanut butter guy, so.
Oh, peanut butter kicks ass.
Yeah, so it was a good experience. I have been before, but it's been a while, so it's a good place. Circle K, step up your game. That's really all I gotta say. Burn dairy. Gotta expand from the milk.
Wait a second. Okay, now hold on. We need to backtrack for a second.
No, I do like Burned Dairy.
You said down in Pittsburgh, you talk about how like they need burned dairies down there because that's all you would eat or whatever.
I said Sheets is just a better dandy. Way better dandy.
You need to wait. Oh, God.
Dandy's not bad.
A place called Dandy cannot be in the top echelon.
Didn't
I
say
think
that.
based off the name Jim Dandy, I'm not allowing it.
I'm just saying.
I'm not
that it's
allowing
better.
it. No.
I'm not a Circle K guy only because it's right there for gas. But especially, did you know the Circle K out near the Thruway doesn't even sell alcohol? So
Yeah, they do.
no, I'm pretty sure they don't.
They do.
No,
They
I
lost
think the
their
Burned Dairy does.
They lost their license for like 2 weeks.
I don't think they have it anymore.
They do. Go out there and look.
I will.
You'll
And-
lose money.
But I will still go to Burned Dairy because
I
Burned
don't-
Dairy is the GOAT.
I don't know what's going on with the mics today, but they seem especially like hot. Like
I can hear it. I can definitely hear it over here.
I'm fiddling over here with like a couple of like the sliders and things. I don't know what's
But
going
if
on.
you're in New York, Burned Dairy's the GOAT of gas stations.
Shut up.
It is. It's plain and simple. Best pizza.
The Bucks are up 3-2 on the Suns. So I completely stomp out Nick.
They played 5 games in 2 weeks.
5 games in 2 weeks, with the last potential 2 going the course of a whole entire other week.
It's terrible.
Bucks look to close out the series tonight in Milwaukee. Scott Foster had official tonight.
It's over then.
So, but anyway, fantastic games the past few. Obviously, we have a new alleged greatest block of all time, which is not, but it's certainly up there in discussions. Drew Holiday, I know certain people are haters of Drew, but he's obviously stepped up his game to accompany Giannis and really carry that team for a while. This has been a tough finals overall to watch, in my opinion. They've been really great. I don't think it's been as bad as a lot of people think. It's just a finals that's been hard to kind of get hyped up about overall. But the play has been good. Admittedly, probably not the most I've been able to watch the finals or have wanted to watch the finals in the past couple years. But that being said, still a little bit of a tune-in every here and there. It's tough. But, Nick, from your perspective, can the Bucks close it out tonight? Because when we did our last podcast, I did say that I didn't think a team would be able to win more than 2 straight. And the Bucks have won 3 straight. Can they get that 4th tonight, or do we get a Game 7 in Phoenix?
It ends tonight. Just because the Bucks are the way better team. I know a lot of the fans I've noticed have gone to the Suns side of things. I don't care for the Suns. I care for the Bucks because of Patty C and Notre Dame, and he's going to be an NBA champion tonight. It's going to be an awesome feeling for Notre Dame because Devin Booker sucks. Kentucky sucks. But, this has been a nice run by the Bucks. When the Suns went up 2-0, you thought they, were going to take control of the series, maybe win in 4 or 5 games. Now the Bucks can win this thing in 6 games. They needed to get that one. They knew they had to win 1 game on the road in Phoenix. They did that in Game 5. But I might check it out tonight. USA Olympic softball is at 11, but I might check out the NBA Finals tonight. I've only seen a couple minutes. We didn't even see it in Pittsburgh, Game 5 there. I don't even remember it being on any TV. But I might check it out a little bit tonight after this podcast. Because I've only seen the end of Game 4, and that was like the last few seconds. I just have not cared. You got 2 teams that have made nice runs. I just don't care who wins. I'd like to see the Bucks win, but I really don't care. Any type of championship, you like to see David versus Goliath. But here you got 2 Davids, and I just don't care. But it's nice. This is great for the NBA. I think I've said this before. It's great for the NBA to get away from the super teams, have them lose like the LeBrons and the Nets. Yeah, so it's definitely good for the NBA, but ratings are showing it's not. And it is better ratings than last year's finals, the bubble finals. But, they're still trying to finish up, but they haven't had a full season since 18-19. So
great year.
Yeah. 18-19. But root for the Bucks. I think they closed it out tonight. Greek Freak will still get MVP. I know some people said Middleton might get MVP. Greek Freak will still get MVP. No doubt about it. And his first of many championships if he does close it out. So, and Paul I give him all the credit for this. He said before anybody else that he'd be a top 5 player of all time. No, he's not a top 5 player of all time right now, but people thought you were crazy when you said that.
I was the closest one out of our friend group to get Giannis right, so I'll take it. Thank you. Thank you, Nick.
Yes, you called that.
I tried more than y'all. Greeky freaky, baby. You bring up an interesting point, actually, with the MVP discussion, because I did want to ask this. The person who I would be giving Fouls MVP to tonight, if it ended tonight, not Middleton or Giannis. I'm giving it to Drew Holiday. I mean, what he's been able to do kind of trench-wise, right? Showed up really well defensively, and he's played offense when he needed to play offense. Something that the Bucks needed to do in the stretch. I don't care what anybody says. Bledsoe wasn't doing that for him last year, or the years prior. So, hard not to, I think, in my mind, give it to Drew at this point.
He's always been a great MVP player.
Yeah. I hate how people don't like him. How they don't think he's good or anything like that. It drives me up a bit of a wall. Honestly, he's top 10 point guard in the league.
It's kind of the same, I don't know if you call it the same, but it's kind of the same reputation as Chris Paul in a sense, because no one ever really looked to him as the greatest point guard of all time, or not all time, the greatest point guard in his time, his era.
Yeah.
But he really is, and I think him and Chris Paul definitely similar, where they just don't get the respect like these other point guards, like Russell Westbrook, like Kyrie Irving, I guess Damian Lillard. Does Damian Lillard really get respect? I think he's starting to.
Even then, though, it's like
I guess Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, these type of point guards. They're more talked about than Drew Holiday, Chris Paul. Drew Holiday's just a pro, and he's definitely a point guard everyone wants to have on your team. You would love to have Drew Holiday on your team. Sure, he can't win a team by himself, but he's on a team that has the Greek Freak, has Middleton, who's been improving every year, and he's a great piece of that team. I don't think this is the deepest Bucks team they've had in these stretches, but just a more complete starting lineup.
I don't know about that.
The bench could be better. I thought their bench has been,
I mean, I think this is maybe it's not in the sense that you're making it the deepest, but this is definitely the best bench they ever had, at least in this Giannis run. I mean, you got guys, pretty much you got Bobby Portis coming off the bench most nights. Stuff that Connaughton and DiVincenzo have been able to do when they've needed to play. Bryn Forbes. I don't know, Nick. I think this is their best bench.
All right. We're just going
to
disagree.
I think we're disagreeing on which part of the depth part we agree on, but
I think their starting lineup has improved because, like you said, Holiday's better than Bledsoe. But I don't think it's their best bench. But it's not like it's a bad bench. It's a good bench. I just think there are other teams that they've had in these last few years have had better benches. But it's more complete starting lineup, and that's what you need at the end of these games, at the start of these games, and it's working. And it's also helped that they've had a easier stretch than years past. They did beat the Nets, but I'll go there. The Nets did have a few injuries. I never thought the Sixers were that good. And I don't know who they played in the first round. They played the Heat. Oh, yeah, the Heat. Too soon. It's just you look at the top of the league. It was the Sixers and the Jazz. That's just not, that's not going to work. That's not who you're scared of. And then LeBron went out early. The Suns are a young team, so it's kind of been easier stretch than you've seen. You don't see the Warriors anymore. You don't see the great Cavs. But it's still a good run. Still one that the Greek Freak will remember forever. But they're a good team, well coached. Budenholzer's the best coach in the league. At me. Right now.
I will at you on that one.
He is. Budenholzer's the best coach in the league right now. He's a Popovich tree. But his reign as the best coach in the league will not last long because Thibs will take it over. And that's my case. Go Bucks. It's over tonight. Thank goodness. That's all I gotta say.
Sorry, I was trying to fiddle with more stuff over here because I cranked the headphone. I'm doing stuff. I'm getting it figured out.
Let the tech guy get it.
That's how that works. Budenholzer's not the best coach in the league.
Disagreeing again.
I mean, I'm not doing this like tonight with this, but Budenholzer definitely is not. This was a dude who was on the hot seat mid-year, so I mean, come on.
Who is?
Best coach in the league?
I swear, if you say Eric Spoelstra, I'm going to get up and punch you in the face.
Popovich?
That's such a boring answer.
Oh, what'd you want me to say? Freaking Ryan Sanders?
Popovich is over the hill. He needs to call it. He lost to
God.
Nigeria in Australia. He's done.
You want to do this conversation.
He's done. He's over the hill as a coach.
The Knicks lost to the Hawks.
Yeah.
The lowly Hawks.
He's done, man. Popovich is over the hill. Let Becky Hammond take over the team, and the Spurs will be back in the playoffs. But for now, Budenholzer's the best coach in the league. Case closed. Champion tonight.
Who won Coach of the Year?
Thibs.
I'd take Thibs over Budenholzer.
I absolutely would agree, but right now he's not. He's second. Monty Williams is fifth.
Monty Williams is better than Budenholzer.
I can't hate Monty Williams. Notre Dame, respect.
Oh, here now. Be like me saying Bill Laimbeer is the greatest player of all time, and you agreeing because he went to Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm, he is. Austin Carr.
Did you even know that he went to Notre Dame before I said that?
I don't know. Probably not.
I digress.
It's before my time. I've only heard of Austin Carr because I heard he's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT Cavalier, yes.
Mm-hmm.
They love him in Cleveland. Speaking of Cleveland, Nick,
Uh-huh.
the MLB trade deadline is next
week.
Friday, right? The 30th. So
yeah, what happened to the 31st?
I don't know.
Manfred? Do we blame it?
Manfred, please.
We blame him there?
Big Rob Manfred.
He had to change that too, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, quite the interesting baseball year overall to get us to this point. Teams that we thought would be really good, maybe not so much. The teams we thought would be bad, some are, some aren't though. Buyers, sellers, who's on the move? I think the biggest name so far at the moment that's going to be probably on the move is got to be Chris Bryant. That's in terms of maybe name-wise. Now, he is having a really good bounce-back year from the past couple where he has struggled, admittedly. Obviously, he didn't make the All-Star team, but he's batting a pretty respectable range in anywhere between the 270 to 290 range, depending upon how his week's going. But then you also have a really great slew of guys that are going to be available. Starling Marte, Adam Frazier, the way it sounds. I'm sorry, Nick.
I'm sorry.
Eduardo Escobar of the Diamondbacks. Then you also have guys, maybe teams that are going to be buying that maybe you didn't think are going to be buying, but never say never. But you have also on the move potentially. Let's take a look at a guy like Nelly Cruz, who is available at the deadline.
Byron Buxton.
Byron Buxton's available. I've heard Jose Barrios also potentially available for the Twins. So
Wow.
a lot of people, a lot of names that are probably going to be on the move this year. That being said, who are big buyers probably? Well, you have to take a look at maybe a team like obviously the Astros, A's. The Yankees appear to be probably buying only out of the sake of their own injury mess, but that's a different discussion. Atlanta clearly is in buy mode. In the NL Central, Brewers and the Reds probably will be the only two really buyers there. NL West, you're probably going to have three teams that are going to be buyers, right? Padres, Dodgers, and Giants, who have been the really great surprise of the MLB season so far, probably.
They are.
You get a team in the AL West, obviously the Astros are going to be buying, the A's are going to be buying. Mariners are in the middle. I think they're actually probably going to lean closer to the buy side if I had to actually gauge
I think
it.
the Mariners are staying.
Yeah, but I think so too. But if you had to move a gauge, I think they're probably on the buy side a little bit more than they would be on the sell side.
You never know what
The Angels, I don't know what the Angels are going to do. They're kind of caught in tax luxury hell. Obviously, the Rangers will be selling. Blue Jays probably buying. Rays probably buying. Red Sox definitely buying. Yankees buying. Orioles probably will be the only sellers, and even then, I don't know what they're going to give up because they have a really good nucleus. Then obviously the NL East, Mets are probably going to be buying. They should be buying. Braves are buying. Nationals are in an interesting spot. I've heard they might try and move Scherzer. So it sounds like they're going to be sellers. Phillies, I think, will be more on the buying side of things. The league's kind of everywhere. It's an interesting deadline this year. So, Nick, if we go to you, what can we expect this deadline? Because, like I said, this is an interesting year. Kind of everybody's going to be all in, I think, to a degree if you're buying. So it's going to be a pretty big bidding war, I would say.
Well, the Cubs are going to unload.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bryant, Rizzo, Kimbrel, all getting moved. You got to remember, we've been doing this since 2011 now, I believe, the second wild card. Other than 2020, we had 5 wild cards. But, the second wild card, though, just like we've been saying for the last 10 years, it allows more teams to be in the hunt. Because right now, you look at the difference between the Rays and the A's. Back in the day when there was only one wild card, the Rays would be in and the A's would be 2 back. Now the Rays got 2 games of room. I believe it's 2. It's something around there. But, now it keeps more teams in the hunt. So there's less sellers than there are buyers in that case. And, a lot of teams just, in the middle there, just stay put and they don't make any moves. And especially if you're a young team like the Mariners, like the Marlins, teams like that. Even though the Marlins have faded a little bit. But those teams are not going to be doing anything because they are trying to grow their nucleus. They might trade some of their older players, like you said, like Starling Marte. But other than that, no, they're going to try to keep these young guys going. I know you're not a big Derek Jeter guy, but I think he's done a decent job over there in Miami.
Yeah, it's the same Miami shenanigans going on
just saying,
now, though.
Christian Yelich, don't look too hot.
And the Marlins are still not willing to pay their players because they don't have money.
They did make the NLDS last year.
Wait, hold on, though. This actually brings up a good point. You do know what's going on in Miami right now, right?
Baseball.
Yeah. They're running low on money.
They're running low?
Yeah.
So is A-Rod going to buy it?
Just bought the Timberwolves and Lynx.
Does Anthony Edwards know who A-Rod is yet?
Remember talking about that? It's not one of the least crazy things I feel like we've talked about on here.
But no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But
They offered, the extension they offered Marte was 3 years, $30 million.
Is that good?
No, it's underselling his value. So that way they can make it sound like when they trade him, like, well, he didn't take the extension.
Well, I'm sorry. I come from a Pirates team where our highest paid player is Gregory Blanco, who makes $11 million.
You should be upset about this too, because it's the same shenanigans that Nutting does.
Mm-hmm.
Low ball and then just say, we had to trade him because we didn't do the extension.
No, Nutting's mind controlling me. If he ain't worth $6 million, you're off the team.
Anyway, back to you.
So yeah, you just really don't know who's gonna get buying. Since we'll stay local here, we'll talk about the Yankees. Paul, what position do the Yankees need most?
Everything.
I think that
I'd say outfield because that's where all the injuries are right now. Definitely need some pitching and a shortstop.
What about first base?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I heard someone said Anthony Rizzo to the Yankees. What would you think?
I wouldn't be upset. I like Riz.
He'd be awesome at that stadium.
Yeah.
And they need a first baseman.
Yep.
I think that would be a tremendous move. But do you believe in Brian Cashman in 2021?
I don't know if I believe him. It's tough to get behind him. You know what I mean?
Do you believe in Steinbrenner's son?
Starting not to.
Do they need to make the ALCS, or is this season a bust?
They just need to make the playoffs at this point, or else it's a bust.
Really?
Yeah.
Not the ALCS.
At this point, just make the playoffs.
1 game playoff?
Yep.
That's even a success, even if they lose in that game.
At this point.
Okay. What about pitching? Are you happy with the pitching?
Not overall, but I don't think it's our biggest worry right now.
Do you like Jordan Montgomery?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Do you like German?
I hate Herman, no.
Do you think he wins tonight?
I hope he doesn't.
I think the game's almost over, but what about the bullpen?
Definitely need some arms there. Darren O'Day's done for the year.
Does Chad Green deserve an extension?
Yes.
Every time I see that guy pitch, he sucks. Does Chapman need to pitch more?
It's like me saying every time I see Will Crow pitch, he sucks.
Does Chapman need to pitch more?
Yes.
In the closer role?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
He is a closer.
Does Aaron Boone need to get extension?
No.
Any chances he gets fired before the season's end?
I think it depends how the rest of the way plays out.
If the Yankees don't make a move this trade deadline, what are your thoughts?
I think Hal needs to look in the mirror and figure it out fast.
Yeah.
Because...
they better make a move.
Yeah.
You're the New York Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
And as a Knicks fan, we're pretty similar. Yankees, Knicks, pretty similar teams. We both haven't made a championship since 2009 at least. Yeah, I think they got to make a move. I think Rizzo's the big move. I think they go for him. Do I want to see that? Absolutely not. But I think the Red Sox are going to outplay them this trade deadline. I think the Red Sox are going to make the right moves. And once again, they're going to beat the New York Yankees like they always do. And so we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm always a big fan of the deadline. I believe Manfred screwed this up going on July 30th. Must have something going on that 31st. So, but he's doing a heck of a job. He's a great commish. I think he deserves an extension. I know that bargaining deal is coming up here soon, so I'm ready for the lockout, and I can't wait to see how long they fight for. So that's all I got to say on the trade deadline. Adam Frazier, I hope you go to a good team. Josh Bell needs to get traded to the American League, and that's really all I got to say.
Interesting.
McCutcheon, come back.
This will be interesting because it sounds like the Cubs are going to be, as you said, outright sellers. The guys who you think are good, who have been there for a while, aren't going to be there anymore. The way it sounds. Kimbrel, Rizzo, Baez. Baez is the interesting one. I don't know who's going to really want to take him. He wants a $300 million extension, I believe it is. And I don't know who's going to really give it to him.
That's cheap.
Whatever you say. So, going to be interesting. Certainly will be interesting. Obviously, what do you mean by Josh Bell's an interesting one because this is an interesting DH market because rarely do you ever have a pure DH. You hear that?
Yeah, I think it was ice.
Okay, sure. Rarely do you ever have a pure DH become available on the trade market like a Nelson Cruz. So I think it actually hinders a guy like Josh Bell's potential in the marketplace to go to an American League team. That being said, I mean, I think a lot of it depends on what the price is for Nelson Cruz. If it becomes too high, does a team like, say, the White Sox look at the Nationals and say, hey, Josh Bell, certainly comes at a lower price tag than Nelson Cruz. So it'll be interesting there.
He just needs to go to American League.
Time to reset, you think, for a little bit?
He can't play the field.
Oof.
Probably the worst first baseman if you ever really watch him. I haven't seen him in a year, but he's terrible first baseman. You feel for him.
I'm going through the league right now. I'm trying to think in my head quick.
What are you thinking? Buckner?
No, Vladdy Jr.'s rough in the field. I mean, Pete Alonso's pretty rough in the field, too.
Yeah.
A
lot of guys. David Ortiz.
Well, he wasn't a first baseman.
He did when he went to the National League. Actually, a lot of time he would sit.
Yeah.
And pinch hit.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad he was at first base.
Miggy's had to play quite a few innings at first this year, but he can still kind of get it done.
He always liked it, though.
Yeah.
He definitely made a perfect...
This is an interesting discussion.
He definitely made a perfect throw in that Gallagher non-perfect game.
All right. Let's talk Kraken.
What's cracking, lacking?
Boo. Boo.
Seattle Kraken. You start this.
Awful joke. You tried to start it. It's absolutely failed.
Big draft tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot of good names left exposed, like Vladimir Tarasenko, like a Carey Price. A lot of good Lightning players available too. So it'll be interesting. The key part with this draft is, do we see a repeat of what Vegas has done? Right? Come out of the gate and just be really good with guys they're able to get because they're all, at minimum, pretty middle-of-the-road guys. But then you still got to take the next step. I think it has to do with a lot of things front office and coaching-wise, but you have to draft that team first.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think, in all honesty, teams would leave the guys exposed that they did overall. You have a lot of talent available on these open lists. I already alluded to two of them with Tarasenko and Price. And then I alluded to it like Tampa, where you have, Tyler Johnson, who's from Washington State. But guys like Palat hasn't been protected. Yanni Gourde is unprotected. So it's an interesting case. I didn't think teams would leave the type of players they left unprotected like they did with Vegas. The fact of the matter is, to a degree, they didn't leave some of the guys available, kind of like they did like with Vegas. But the same token, all these guys have proven to be really damn good throughout the years. I think maybe the top-heavy guys are better than what was left available for Vegas, but the bottom ones are probably a bit more bottom-heavy than what was left for Vegas. So it becomes an interesting scenario for the Kraken. Do you say draft a guy like Tarasenko, which is something that this part has been kicked around? Do you draft a guy like Tarasenko to flip for draft picks in the amateur draft coming up? I don't think there's a problem with it, but I'd much rather try and give it a go with Tarasenko more than anything else, just to see what happens. Or do you take that Carey Price, who is definitely obviously the Marc-Andre Fleury of this draft, and I wouldn't say resurrect his career. Obviously, he had one of his best career years this year with Montreal. Was the leader on that team to get to the Stanley Cup final, but he's carrying health baggage. He's got a knee problem, got a hip problem, by the way it sounds, which is definitely not good for a goalie. So the Kraken are in a pretty interesting spot overall. And the thing with hockey compared to, say, the only other expansion draft, and I think we talked about this a little bit before, Nick, to a degree. The only one off the top of your head that you can remember in our cognizant memories, at least for us, was the Charlotte, now Hornets, then Bobcats expansion draft. But that's different because in the NBA, you only have to draft, now it's 15. By the time you only had to draft 13 guys in your expansion draft. So you're not even taking a one player from every team like it is in the NHL. NHL, you have to take one player from each team. You have to take one player for them, now 31 teams. And you don't, obviously, that player doesn't straight up play for you come game one or in the preseason. You just have the rights to that player. So that, like I said, it allows for potential trades to happen or not. So I'll ask you the question, Nick, a little bit. Can Seattle, and this is maybe a little bit of a question more further down the road, but does Seattle and can Seattle repeat what Vegas did?
Absolutely. Did you know, before I even get to my point, did you know Seattle is playing with their ice? Their ice is actual Seattle rainwater.
I did not.
So that's pretty cool. But yes, they can. They can be just as good as Vegas. I believe they're in the West, right? They're going to be in the West?
Yes.
I would assume.
I think they'll be in whatever, because they're going back to normal divisions next year. Whatever I think they're technically calling. I think it was the Pacific last time around. I don't know if they're still going to call it the Pacific. But
Yep. Well, yes, they can. You said Carey Price is available?
Yes.
Boom. There's your Marc-Andre Fleury, just like Vegas. He's still at the best of his game. Maybe not the best, but he took Montreal to the finals this year, Stanley Cup Finals. So yeah, I think they can be just as good. It's always cool to see expansion, especially Seattle. Losing the Sonics, they're getting closer and closer, getting those Sonics back. But Seattle's a winner's city, other than the baseball team. But as a Pittsburgh guy, I know what that feels like. So, they say they can. It's exciting to see expansion. 32 teams they got now.
Yep.
Just like the NFL. Yep. So that's pretty cool. I'm still gonna be rooting for Vegas on the west side of things, but hey, Seattle Kraken, what a name! It ain't the Jamestown Tarp Skunks, but it is the Seattle Kraken. But yeah, cool name, cool team. I'm looking forward to it.
I love the color scheme, by the way, too, for them.
Green?
No, it's like a nice dark blue with some I wouldn't call it straight up teal. It's kind of like a subdued teal, some gray, and a nice little drop of red.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Probably got some sick jerseys. Have you seen the jerseys?
Yes.
They're cool.
They're nice. Yeah.
They're nice. What are you gonna get to see? It's Kraken jersey. NHL will have hats.
Yeah. But I don't know. Considering I don't even have a Tampa sweater, probably not until I get a Tampa sweater.
Why not?
I mean, they're full-fledged, literally like sweaters, man. Like they're just tough.
Winter's coming around.
Shut up.
I'll tell.
Don't say that word
Mama
around here.
Russo to get you that for Christmas this year.
Okay, let her know, and you let her people know. I'll let my people know.
All right, cool.
Okay.
But, yeah, looking forward to it. Seattle Kraken, Seattle, hockey. We'll see if they're a hockey town. Have they ever had hockey before?
I think in the WHL, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, I'd like to see get Carey Price. Who do you think they're going to get from the Lightning?
I think the top 3 options right now, you have Tyler Johnson, who's from Spokane. I think Palat, and then you have Jan Ruda, who I thought initially would probably be the one they take, but I think they'll probably take Palat. If this was even like 2 years ago, I think they'd take Tyler Johnson.
How long does it take to build fans? Like, do you think people in Seattle are already big fans?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Vegas is a bad example because they were the first true professional team there. That's something that, I think I discussed a little bit out here one time. Like, the Raiders are going to have like very little claim to Vegas because they're such a nomadic team in nature. They're a nomad to that city technically. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to do really well. I think this fills a void that the NBA's should have never have left void.
And they can't get too upset because they don't be as successful as the Knights.
But Seattle's a pretty rabid sport fan base. Like, let's be honest. Like, when the Mariners usually draw really good crowds on the weekends. Obviously, I'm trying to make it sound like they don't get anybody for weekday games, but they certainly do struggle like a lot of teams do nowadays on weekday games. Obviously, the Seahawks rabid as hell, right? But I mean, the Sounders have been one of, if not the most prolific MLS team of the past decade, and they always have a packed stadium. Mm-hmm. So, and by that token, I mean the Seattle Storm of the WNBA has one of the best franchises going, as well as the best fan bases going. So, they're going to show up. I think they really are going to show up.
Now, with Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their first season, didn't they go winless?
Yes.
So you can't be as bad as them.
No.
But
in theory, no.
Has anybody ever won it their first year?
Championship?
That's a good question.
I mean, technically speaking, yeah. Whoever won the first Stanley Cup or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to be super technical about things. I don't think so. Not to my knowledge. I know, was it the Blues who made the finals their first year, but it was only because of the way like everything was like structured at that time, because the NHL brought in that year in 70-71. They brought in both expansion and merged in franchises from absorbed league. So, like, one whole side of the league was pretty much teams that had already been there, and the other half was all these new franchises who pretty much were all terrible anyway and just beat up on each other. And lo and behold, the Blues come in, and I think like a slightly above 500 clip into the Stanley Cup final and get swept out of their minds by, I think it was the Red Wings, or I can't remember off the top of my head.
Do you think we'll ever get an NFL team in London?
God.
I think that would be so cool.
No, I don't think so. I mean, logistically, it just makes no sense.
It would be so cool.
I don't think so.
9 a.m. games every week.
Logistically, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't.
They could have a base in Jacksonville. Not saying Jacksonville should
Here we go. Well, they might as well be the London team.
But, yeah, should be fun.
Yeah.
Watch it tomorrow on ESPN 2.
Or the NHL Network.
Prefer the NHL Network.
Exactly. That being said, that takes us to the end of tonight's show. Appreciate you guys tuning in, listening, watching, subscribing, all the fun stuff that you do for us in Finger Lakes 1. Nick, who are you shouting out today?
Today I'm shouting out my cousin Karen. Karen Crisani just had her second kid. First boy named Steven. Her brother's named Steven. Not sure if that was the reason, but congratulations to Karen. That is now my aunt and uncle on that side of the family have now had 10 grandkids. And, now I have 14 first cousins once removed, 15 on the way. I feel old, but shout out Karen. Congratulations.
All right. Congrats to Karen and the family. Exciting stuff. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Like I said, all the fun stuff to help us.
Back on the screen.
Help us out. My bad. I got a bit jumpy there, admittedly, but like, share, subscribe. All the fun stuff for us in Finger Lakes One to help us out. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks again. Next week off for the summer. So we're in our summer break. We'll catch you guys next week on the Fresh Takes Podcast with Russo and Felice.